Hello and welcome to the Unqualified Podcast with Leon Wilson. That's me. Thank you to the folks who have been our just longtime subscribers and those who have taken the time day after day, week after week to support the channel in the way of viewing and listening. And from all over the world, we are in over 240 countries or cities worldwide, and so many different countries, over 40 countries, and it's just been a whirlwind of what God's done in our life, and we're coming up on the year mark that the podcast has been airing, and in that time, there's been just a tremendous amount of support and just ups and downs. It's ebbs and flows. It's just like anything else where the views will just seem like they're skyrocketing, and then other times the views are, just like, whoa, what's going on? But then it's even in the times when it seems like the views are low and what have you, the subscribers start climbing. And for those of you who have subscribed here recently, thank you for doing that. And if you are watching one of our videos, would you mind going ahead and subscribing and click that little bell for the notification so you know when a new video drops? And then always keep in mind that I post YouTube Shorts and TikToks daily, almost daily. I try to do daily, and in some cases I'll even go twice a day. But either way, we're just trying to get the news out that the Lord is moving, and there's hope. There is hope beyond a shadow of doubt. Folks who otherwise would not find hope might be scrolling. And if you're scrolling and you come across this right now, understand that the Lord loves you. He loves you. Just is just head over heels for you. And there is hope. Either way, today I preached on 1 Samuel chapter 30, verses 1 through 6. And it's a beautiful story about David, who had a company of men who he was sent from the Philistines and told, hey, you need to go home. That basically their time in the campaigns were done because some of the leaders of the different parts of the campaign had decided that they didn't want the Hebrew men there. They were warriors, and they had helped and made some exploit names for themselves, and for some reason they didn't want them there. Made them feel uncomfortable. They said, lest he turn on against us and join our enemies. And so David left and turned back, and they went to their home base, which was in Ziklag. And upon approaching Ziklag, they realized that the city had been destroyed, burnt with fire, and that everybody there was taken captive. Wives, sons, daughters, everybody taken captive. And so David and his men find themselves in an emotional situation where they wept, the Bible says, until they had no energy. I dare say we have all found our position at some point, our time, where we were in the Ziklag of our life, where we were so hurt, so distraught, so troubled that we didn't have the energy to do anything else. Like the pit of despair was so deep, and we were so just way over our heads in it that we could not find hope anywhere. And while David's processing this, and he's in that state that I just explained, and all that, and so his men were in this state, and then he finds it that they turn on him. They were talking about stoning him. I can't process my grief because I've got a whole company of men, about 600 men, I think it was, who want to kill me. And what does David do during that time? Verse 6, at the end of it, it says, "And David encouraged himself in the Lord his God." And when I read that the first time it really rang with me, it was like looking at a neon sign. It was as if the Lord was saying, "This is it. This is you. This is what you need to read and process it." And so I did. And I was thinking, how do I encourage myself in the Lord? How do I do that? What do I need to do in order to encourage myself in the Lord? How did David do that? What's the code? How do I do it? But the Lord showed me that too, and I described that and explained that today during service, and I'll explain it right here. I was in a bad way, and I was without work for a few months. My wife was the only income. I felt like I was less than a man. I wasn't earning my keep. I wasn't the provider that I'm supposed to be. And as I was trying to put in these applications and all this other stuff and trying to get a job, she was working and making ends meet and balancing the budget somehow, some way. God made a way for us to be able to continue to push forward and make ends meet. And then after a few months, I finally got a job at a grocery store stocking the dairy. We had a cruise booked, which I thought only rich people went on cruises because stuff like that never happened to me. I wasn't able to do anything like that. How do you go on a vacation like that? Vacations for me used to be just going a couple hours away. Maybe spending the night somewhere, maybe not. Camping, I could go camping. That was within my budget, but a cruise? Only rich people got to do that. In fact, it seemed to me like it was never going to happen. My wife, she kept telling me, "I'm going to cancel the cruise. There's no way we're going to be able to go on it." And I told her, "You're not canceling that cruise. God's going to make a way for us to go on that cruise." As I'm stocking that dairy, people would come up to me. I'd ask them how they were doing, and they would unload all of their problems on me. I'm facing this. I'm fighting this. People I don't even know. I got to do this. My wife's in the hospital. I'm in the hospital. We're going back and forth hospital to hospital, and I'm under, doctor's care because of this, that, or the other thing, or I'm facing this, or it's been a rough week. It's been whatever. And during this time, I would just be so inclined and motivated to help encourage these people. And I'm going through such a rough, low portion of my life. And how am I supposed to find a way to encourage everybody else? And I couldn't. I felt like I was empty. I felt like the tank is empty. I don't have anything to give anybody else. And the more I felt like that, the more people would come. And then it was like I was pouring out and pouring out and pouring out. And I'm like, Lord, how? How do I do this? And the Lord showed me the only way I can pour out, the only thing I have to pour out is what He pours in. An empty vessel can't pour anything out. An empty cup has no coffee to pour out. But if He's filling my cup while I'm pouring stuff out, I can't ever run out. And I kept pouring it out and pouring it out and pouring it out. Then my phone rang. We want you to come interview at this manufacturing plant. We know you put in for this job, but somehow we have you applied for this job, which was an even better job. Can you come and interview? Yeah, sure. I go and I interview. And then I get a phone call. All the while, my wife is, I got to cancel this cruise. Got to cancel this cruise. There's no way we're going to be able to go on it. We need to get our money back. And I kept telling her, you're not canceling this cruise. God's going to make a way. The phone call was, we'd like to make you an offer. Here's the offer. Here's when you can start and blah, blah, blah. And we'll get you going. And you're exactly what we're looking for. And we're excited about having you on and all this other. And we're going to start you this date. You'll get paid this date. And boom, they start me and I get paid. And it was all just in time to start paying off this cruise. And we finally get this cruise paid. And then I lose my driver's license. Like I couldn't find it. Not like they took it, but I couldn't find it. And I remembered on my phone, I've got a picture of my driver's license. So I printed it out. I had my adoption papers. I had my Social Security card. I had my veteran's ID. Had my driver's license. The picture of my driver's license. I had everything I could find. Birth certificate, license, our picture of the license, Social Security card, adoption papers, whatever I needed. We drive down to Jacksonville, Florida, where we were going to get on that ship. And I just knew I'm not going to be able to go. There's no way. Stuff like this don't happen for me. I don't get to do stuff like this. The line gets shorter and my family starts getting checked in, bang, 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 through customs. I'm the last one. There they are waiting on the other side of here. I walk up there, a folder with all my identification and everything I had. I tell that lady, I like your hair. She looks up to me and she says, thank you. I see your license, registration, blah, 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 whatever you got, or license, insurance, whatever you got, or whatever. I forget what it was. Oh, license and birth certificate, long form birth certificate. I said, well, I've got my long form birth certificate. Here's my Social Security card. Here's my veteran's ID. And then this is a printout. Here's a printout of my license. Everything's there. I just cannot find my actual license. And this is legit. You can look at the date. The date is within the expiration and all this other. It's legit. It's just a copy of it, though. She's looking at that. She's looking at my all the other stuff I gave her, adoption papers, everything. She's looking at it all. And I was telling her, ma'am, I'm sorry for being troubled, whatever. And she's like, I got to get my manager over here. I was thinking, oh, gosh. It's never a good thing. Usually that's Spanish for, I'm going to have my manager tell you no. So I don't want to tell you no. The manager comes over there. I'm like, hi, I like your hair. She starts looking over the stuff, thumbing through it and everything, and she sees whatever. And I was trying to give her, hey, it's it's just a printout. It's I understand it's not the real thing, but the dates on there, everything else, it's within the standard and all this other, and there's my family watching me, nervous wreck that I'm not going to be able to go. I'm a nervous wreck, thinking they're going to have to go without me. And the lady says, he's good. Send him. I was like, what? Thank you, ladies. I could have hugged him. I walk through and we start going toward that gangway. I look over at my son, and he looks nervous. I said, what's up, buddy? Or what's up, boy? He said, it don't feel real. It feels like something's going to happen and we're not going to be able to go. I said, man, I feel that same way. I said, come on, I'll go with you. I grabbed his arm. We start walking up that gangway. We get to the point where you step off of the gangway and onto the ship, and it's a seam between the two. And I remember holding on to him and just grabbing him tight a little bit and stepping over to that thing together and thinking, stuff like this don't happen to Leon. Until now. Until now. Me and my son, we cross over through that doorway and we look at I'm sure this is just a 1/1,000,000th how we're going to feel when we go to heaven, but it was amazing. It's not even their nicest ship. It was amazing to be able to walk from that plank, from that gangway onto the ship and be able to see this and know, man, this is it. That by faith we clung to the idea, the hope that we'd be able to board that ship, and here we are, aboard the ship. After that cruise, we had another cruise, and I remember the same thing, stepping from the gangway onto that ship, and I remember feeling like, man, God did it before, he'll do it again, and that's part of the thing. That's how you encourage yourself in the Lord. If you put yourself in David's shoes, how he stood there and he was watching his father's sheep, and then here comes a lion out of nowhere, and he has to kill the lion so that he can save the sheep. And then not long after that, it was a bear, and he had to kill the bear in order to save the sheep. But the Lord gave him the strength to kill both of these animals. It wasn't long after that, and then there's Goliath, and the Lord had to give David the strength in order to sling that rock, that stone, and hit Goliath in the head and put him down, and then the Lord gave him the strength to behead him, and if he'll do that, then surely to God, it was God who helped get him through the other battles that he was in, and by the time we get to the point of Ziklag, David could easily encourage himself in the Lord because God had been there the entire time. And that's the difference. We get stuck in this cycle where we want to give up every single time we come to the next Ziklag in our life. But the truth is, we've never been alone. We've always had a God who will help us and wants to get us to recover it all. not just get past Ziklag, but to get beyond Ziklag so that we haven't lost anything, but we've gained what we're supposed to gain. I don't know what you're going through in your life. Maybe you're at the Ziklag of your life and you feel like it's falling apart. I would submit to you that you would, if you completely and utterly lean on the Lord and remind yourself that if you're saved, God is with you. And if he's gotten you to it through anything you've gotten to, if he's helped you in any kind of way whatsoever, he'll do it again. And if you've never come to the saving knowledge of faith through Jesus Christ, if you've never accepted him as your Savior, that's the start. Because the dog in the fight, currently, if you're fighting without Jesus, that dog's really, really small. But with Jesus, there's no limit to the fight in the dog. With God, I can go through anything, and he will preserve me and facilitate me. That by the time I even realize the battle's over, he's already so victorious. There's almost no explaining the joy of knowing that God is on my side. But if you have him on your side, then you know what I'm talking about. The problem is when the next Ziklag comes, are you going to forget that until you don't? Or are you going to acknowledge right off the bat, I have God. Lord, help me through this too, please. Father, facilitate my victory right here too. Glorify yourself through my victory over this issue. Glorify yourself through your victory over this issue. Whatever it is, however the prayer goes, acknowledge God. That he got you through the last storm. He's going to get you through this one. Ziklags come and go. God stays the same. That's how it is. Either way, listen, I love you. God loves you. This has been the Unqualified Podcast with Leon Wilson.